I'm having a lot on my plate lately. I'm studying two programs at the same time. I'm gonna graduate from one now in December, and the other one just started. So basically, I have, while I'm working, and trying to keep my mental health and my finances and my overall being in check. So yeah, it hasn't been that much social media for me, believe it or not. But anyhow, in today's video, I'm gonna talk about, I did this video when I was on vacation. Like, I filmed it. I'm gonna show a little clip of when I was there, but I recently watched it and I was like, bruh, I cannot upload this. Like, you could hear my voice that I was so upset. You could hear that this was so fresh, So I was like, sometimes when stuff happens, you really need that time to just relax and think about the whole situation and come back and talk about it and dismantle it when you in a more calmer state, So I decided to do like a short version here. So we'll see, okay? I have been talking about that I wanted to go on some kind of vacation, and I have been working whole summer, like full time, just saving up, like even winter I've been working, but I've been saving up, so this is not like any trust fund money, this is no credit cards, this is nothing like that, this is straight hustle, So I spoke to one of my old like high school so-called friends, because like recently, like she started to show a lot of interest in me and my life, and you understand, like we didn't hang out that much in high school because we didn't go in the same class or whatever, but I don't know, recently like she's very much like commenting on everything on Instagram as soon as I upload something or whatever. So I was just like, okay, I'm used to traveling solo and I actually enjoy it, It's nice to travel with people, I have done that as well, but being who I am and considering the situation that I am in and all of this fuck shit that's been going on, it is somewhat better for me to travel by myself. But anyhow, this girl, this so-called classmate, I told her already, like this was winter time. I told her that I'm not sure where I want to travel, like either Jamaica or Egypt. Like there are many more places that I want to visit. But I was like, like the whole plan is that after I graduate, that I'm gonna move from Europe and start a new life somewhere else, like try to get the visa like somewhere, And I was thinking like, if I'm still here in Europe, let me just try to visit all of the countries that are close to here, so I don't have to come back, when I finally leave. So I told her, I was like, oh, do you want to come with me? Like Egypt or Jamaica, I haven't decided yet. And she was like, no, thank you for the invite or something like that, but I'm gonna go back to the motherland with my parents or something like that. And I was like, okay. So she was one of the people that knew that this trip was not like last minute. Do you understand? Like this was planned out for at least 6 months. And I have been saving and all of this stuff. Anyhow, to make a long story short, I decided to go to Egypt because I always wanted to see, like they have the 7 wonders of the world. And I have seen, I think, like 3 or 4 of the 7 wonders, So I wanted to see the pyramids. I wanted to touch them. Do you understand? Like, you have been seeing about this stuff, reading about this stuff, so you want to, like, with your own eyes, experience it, And to be honest, like, from here, Sweden, to Egypt, Cairo, it's not that far, It's like a 4 or 5 hour flight, depending on a lot of stuff, And it's not that hard to like travel in. They don't have like, that you need to have a COVID pass or even done a COVID test or stuff like that, If you need a visa, you can fix a visa when you arrive, it's very simple like that. So I decided on Egypt. And the thing is, like, with me, I am a budget traveler. I am a budget traveler because I don't have a lot of money. And not only that, like, I want to experience everything. And I feel like when you live in like gated hotel, spaces, and you only meet tourists and everything is so, like, sometimes they have fake beaches, fake sand, fake everything. Like, you can't really say that you have been to a country if you only been inside of that controlled area, So I know when I have traveled with other people, like when I went to Ibiza with my little brother, we had like all inclusive. But he and I got like tired after like, I don't know, like 1.5, 2 days. We was like, man, everything here is so peachy perfect, So we took the local bus to the city and we started to see homeless people. We started to see like the real Ibiza, like the behind the scenes, not the partying, not the fancy everything. Do you understand? And like for us, we needed that, to be like, you gotta see the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the in between, to really get like the full on 360 view or whatever you call it. Anyhow, so usually when I travel, I live in hostels. I don't eat in fancy restaurants. Like, I want to try the local cuisines, and usually when you get the best local cuisines is in the market by somebody cooking like in front of you, So it's not because I'm stingy, it's because like you want that quality. Do you understand? You want to be like, I've been here. And you take the local bus, like the locals and everything like that. But the problem with traveling like that is that, some people, they will appreciate that. Some locals, they will appreciate that and be like, oh, you're so down to earth, like, like you have the opportunity to take a cab wherever you want to, but you want to take like the local bus with us, and you can eat in fancy restaurants, but you want to eat like our street market food, and you can live in fancy hotels, but you want to live like in the middle of where we live in the ghetto, the favelas or whatever, like some people would be like, they will see that as being not humble, but being like, so-called down to earth. Do you understand? But then you will have the other people that will see it as irritating, because for you, this is an experience. For them, this is an everyday struggle, every day. Like if they had the opportunity to take a cab instead of sitting like sardines inside of a bus, they would have taken that. If they had an opportunity to live in a fancy hotel, fancy neighborhood instead of where they are living at the moment, they would take that as well, So for some people, it would sting a little bit in their eyes. It would be like you almost fetishizing their struggle. Do you understand? So I will give an example. This was when I was in South Africa. I think it was it 2020, something like that, 2020, when I was in South Africa. I'm telling you, bruv, I took the local bus and I was living in everything from hostels to like, what you call these, Airbnb. Like I had like a family that hosted me and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, like I overheard like some people, like they were irritated that I took the bus with them because they had like these white buses, They didn't like it at all, It was almost like me sitting there at the moment. I took like an extra seat. But, so I understand. I really do understand. And you have seen a lot of phenomenon on social media where you have like rich tourists that will just sit on a sidewalk with a note like, oh, give me some money and you get a hug or something. And this money that they get, because they get money, people think it's hilarious. They get money. This money is for them to like, keep continuing with their hiking, with their, with their so-called solo traveling or whatever, And it's been a lot of documentaries about that online, and people are fed up with it. You know, like if you can't afford to travel, then don't travel. You know, don't go and take business out of like, because you will have like a mother standing there with her kids selling fruits, and this is the only way that she can like provide for herself and her family. And then you have like a tourist sitting there and is making probably like what she makes in like a month, the tourists make in an hour or something like that. Do you understand? And they're sitting there. So I get it. I get the why some people would be irritated that you would want that experience, you know. But in the same time, in my defense, I would want to say that I am one of these stories. Not to say that I'm perfect or anything. It's just to say that I am responsible. You know, I understand that the economy, the world economy, is very upside down. You know, people cannot live off their own resources, and people have to do this and have to do that, and you know, it's a lot of stuff that comes with just this fucked up hierarchy that we have. I really do understand that. So when I travel, and let's say I know that my currency it's stronger, you know, than the country, the region that I'm traveling to, there's no way that I'm gonna take advantage of that and go to a market and try to, you know, bargain with somebody. Or if I take a cab or something like that, and I know that this cab ride is literally like, I know that back home I would have paid like 10 or 15 times more for that distance, you know. In situations like that, I always tip. Do you understand? I'm responsible in that way. Even if they don't ask, I always tip. Do you understand? It's common sense. You come with more money, you cannot live like the locals. Do you understand? Like, if you're gonna live like the locals, do it, but in the back of your mind, like, if this like local bus that I took, everybody's paying like, let's say like $1 for it or something like that, I will make sure, because I know like the distance, I will pay him like $5, you know. I won't do it like show it, you know, because that's one of the problems. Like, if you start showing people that you have money, that will be like a domino effect. Now everybody want to come, you know, everybody want to do this, everybody want to get some, everybody, you know, and you're not trying to get that, you know. You're not there to brag, to show off or anything like that. Do you understand? You're just being responsible. So anyways, no, this trip was like I said, I traveled a lot by myself, and it's very so-called humble travels, you know, because I want to experience real life, real everything. And the best way you can do that is being outside these gated whatevers, you know. But it comes with a lot of downfalls, and it is like, if you are not strong in yourself like that, you're not used to this, a lot of people will take advantage of you. You know, you can't just be like, you know, just because I'm a good person and I wouldn't do that to people, you know, karma kind of thing, they wouldn't do that to me. It's like, you don't understand, like, when you have mouths to feed and all of this stuff, you can be religious as fuck and all of this stuff, but when you have mouths to feed, a lot of this so-called basic thinking, you know, decency and stuff like that just disappears. Do you understand? So let me just say that it was a whole spectacle about me traveling to Egypt. I'm not kidding with you. It was a whole spectacle. I reckon that some people already knew that I was gonna travel before I even mentioned anything, you know, because I didn't, like, even the people that were closest to me, like I said, the only person that knew kind of was this high school ex-classmates or whatever. You know, I said either Jamaica or Egypt, you know. But even she didn't know, like, nobody knew exactly where I was gonna go, and I wanted to keep it that way. Do you understand? Like, people know me on social media, you see what I decide to let you see, you know, but me, my private life, you don't actually know. You don't. So anyhow, but it feels like people were already in my business and figured out that I was gonna travel. So let's just say, like, I will give like an example. This was a guy that I deleted from my Facebook account like a long time ago. for different reasons. I was like, we don't know each other like that, and we barely talk. Like, I don't want to have any iffy people anymore, you know? And anyhow, so this dude, like, my flight left 9 o'clock in the morning here in Stockholm and landed, oh, it should. That was the time it was supposed to go. But people late this and late that, and wait on this and wait on that. So we left like like 30 minutes, almost 40 minutes later than we were supposed to. So in my schedule, I was scheduled to land in Cairo around like, was it like 3:30 or something like that? Yeah, 3:30 I was supposed to land, but we landed like, let's say like 4 o'clock or something like that. And you know, when you land, you gotta wait to get off the plane, and it's a lot of this stuff. Do you understand? And this dude, he called me on Facebook because he doesn't have my number. So he called me on Facebook. I saw it later when I came to the hotel, when I had Wi-Fi and all of this stuff. Do you understand? Because like I said, when you land, it takes a while. So even if I land at 4 o'clock, it's a whole process, you know. You need to go to the customs, and you know, like especially here, like you need to show like the visa entrance stuff, and then you need to try to get a cab and all of this stuff. So I was like at the hotel like, let's say almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, you know. And this guy called me like, when did I get like the missed call from Facebook? This was exactly when I landed. Like when I was still on the plane. Do you understand? We hadn't even left the plane yet. Like, that's when he called. And I was like, what? Like, do you understand? It's so weird because he and I, we never talk like that. We don't even know each other like that. Like, I met him like once or twice. Very quick, you know? And all of a sudden he's calling me and all of this stuff. And he wasn't the only one. My phone blew up. My social media started to blow up. You know, people that haven't, like from high school, that I haven't been talking to a long time, started to like, how is everything with you and blah blah blah. And my classmates were the most irritating ones. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I had like 2 of them talking about, oh, we didn't see you in school today, you know, because that was the thing. I had this summer job that ended, you know, and then I had like maybe like 2-3 days for myself before school started again. And I was sitting there thinking, like, how am I gonna do that, you know? Because I booked this flight like maybe like a month before or something like that. And I was thinking like, okay, so something gotta be, you know, I gotta sacrifice something. You know, either it's the job that I have to leave a little bit earlier, or I have to come a little bit later to school, you know, so I get those like 72 hours of just relaxation, you know. So it was so irritating. Like, my classmates was on my case, on my social media, and I was like, if you guys need to reach me when it comes to anything to have to do with schoolwork, we have a specific school website, like a school whatever, where we write everything. You know, we have our own private groups, and you can direct private message me on that app. But for the classmates that I have on Instagram or social media, I feel like some of them need to learn boundaries. Do you understand? Especially one of the girls that is in my group, like, so irritating, you know, keep on like, on the weekends even, you know, talking about this, talking about that. And it's like, bruv, you need to relax, okay? You need to relax. Anyhow, I caught a cold a couple days before the trip. So my manager actually knew this. So it wasn't like me trying to cheat or scheme or anything like that. I actually did get like a cold. Like, when I came to the airport, I tried to heal it in different way. I ordered tea, and I asked the bartender, I was like, do you have some kind of alcohol, like strong, that will kill the bacteria? And he said like, yeah, you should try like cognac or whiskey, you know, something like that. So I got this little, you know, that it was so disgusting. Anyhow, long story short, it was a lot of people in my business. A lot of people. If I showed you, like I showed my high school classmate, like I print screened some of the messages and showed her, because I feel like sometimes when I tell this stuff, people think that I'm either lying or exaggerating. Cause it is like, you know, they're like, you must have posted something to give them a hint that you were traveling, and it's like, bruh, no, not yet. You know, I uploaded like a video that I made after. You understand? But these whole messages and stuff like that, these started to come in like before that. So this is how I knew that, man, I really have eyes on my every move 24/7, bruh. Anyhow, I wanted to talk about like travels. I saw this on Instagram. This was a black woman that was talking about like the positive sides of racism, you know? And she said, like, when you are traveling, people just assume just because you're black that you don't have money. So most of the time, like, they won't try to rob you. Like, they will leave you alone. You don't have to be worried about being kidnapped for any ransom or anything like that. And I was like, even if she was joking like that, it is serious, you know? Because I remember, like, once I came to Cairo, like I said, I had like 3 days booked there, you know? And considering what I have read online and seen reviews and stuff like that, I was like, I'm not gonna live in a hostel or anything like that when it comes to this place, you know? Like, I need like maximum security, you know? So I'm gonna live in a hotel, I'm gonna have my own room, and if I'm gonna take any vehicle to any place, I'm gonna take like authorized like Uber or taxi or something like that, no local anything. Do you understand? So I was very like, and I'm not usually like that. Like, I am not usually like that. I'm usually the opposite. Very mañana, tranquilo, you know? But I was like, I'm gonna be here for 3 days. I don't want any like hindrance or anything like that, you know, to stand in my way. So anyhow, when I came to the hotel, like the hotel, I mean, for the price and everything like that, I'm not gonna complain. That's one of the things, like when you have been traveling so much, like you can read all the reviews you want online, you can hear everything, you can see all of these beautiful pictures on social media and these influencers giving you like these videos of a place, and you know what to somewhat expect, even if you haven't been there, you know, because you have traveled so much, and you know that when somebody writes like this is a 5-star hotel, you know not to have your expectation up too high. Do you understand? So when you come there and you see that it's a 2.5, you're very like, okay, you know, this is what I was thinking in my head anyways, you know. So anyhow, the hotel, I'm not gonna complain, it was good. The breakfast was not the best, to be honest. It was cold most of the times, like, and it's like small stuff like that I'm like, are people not like, you know, like I've been studying like management in hospitality and hotel and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, these are like small details. Like, would you want to be served cold food? You know, make sure that you whatever. It's just me. And because this is mostly like a Muslim country and all of this stuff, like, you didn't have to think about like the pool area. They had like a rooftop pool. I could be there by myself for the most times. Like, it was just 1 or 2 incidents where I had people being there. Like, it was one lady that came with a full-on hijab, like, you know, you can only see the eyes, and she was sitting there with her mobile phone, and I was like, bruh, if she is sneak filming or taking picture of me right now, I don't give a fuck about religion. I'm gonna fucking confront her. Do you understand? It is not okay. It is not okay. You don't. But anyhow, when I came, like, I was sick. Like, my nose was like, you know, like it was a full-on cold. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still gonna do everything that I set up to do. Like, even if I was tired as a motherfucker. And the staff at the hotel, like, they were kind, you know, very motherly and fatherly, you know. They were like, you know what, like, because I was talking about that I wanted to just take a shower and then go directly to see the pyramids. And they were like, you know, it's better that you do it tomorrow morning instead. Like, how long are you gonna stay? You do it tomorrow morning instead, you know? You have more time then and all of this stuff. And I was like, yeah, let me just, you know. So the first day I was just chilling at the hotel, to be honest. The first hours, I was just chilling at the hotel. And the day after, I decided to go to the pyramids. And I remember one of the receptionists, he was like, do you want me to send like one of our staff members to go with you, you know, so you don't get tricked and all of this stuff? And I was thinking like, do you know who I am? Like, I have been in the favelas by myself with an expensive ass digital system camera, with a new iPhone, with all of this, walking by myself, and I had all of these people being there, and none of them tried anything. The opposite. They were like, oh, talking Portuguese with me, thinking that I was a local, offering like free rides and all of this stuff. Do you understand? So I was like, I have been to like far more so-called dangerous places, or whatever you would call it, you know, and I have felt safe. Do you understand? Because I'm like, whatever that is, you know, going on in my private life, whatever that is walking with me, some people know I'm not to be fucked with. Do you understand? And it's not to be like that, but it's literally, I'm not to be fucked with, you know? So anyhow, I was like, no, I can do it by myself. It's okay. You know, I've been doing my own little research online. You know, it shouldn't be that bad. And I figured, okay, let me just take the local cab, you know? And I'm telling you, the local cab was more expensive than taking an Uber. Like, it was. Because these people, they will give you like, oh, they will give you different prices, you know? And I'm like, bruv, I'm one of these people. I understand the hustle, you know? I'm on your side when it comes to this. I'm like, get your money, bruv. Like, these tourists, they have money most of the time. Like, do you know how much they're spending on the vacation? Like, this is like what somebody in this country's like yearly salary or something. Do you understand? So usually I am on these people's side, you know. I'm like, get your money, like, fuck it, you know, understand, hustle, you know. They come here and loot and take your resources and everything, so you cannot live off that, you know. So when they come, get your fucking money. But it's like, these people, they need to learn the difference with different tourists as well. Do you understand? Like, they need to learn the difference. And I don't feel like they do most of the times, you know, like they will. It is what it is. It is what it is. I was somewhat prepared for this. Like, I would just, like, this is a side note. Whenever I traveled, like, I have like a training belt that had 2 pockets. And one of the pockets was like pocket money for me, you know, because you have some places that don't take Visa or card or whatever. So that's like pocket money to buy food, drinks, transport, you name it. And then I had money in the other pocket that was like, you know, because you see a lot of beggars, especially children selling stuff, or mothers, you know, do you understand? Like, and you cannot just pass by that, like, you just can't, you know. So, not to be like Mother Teresa, but that belt, most of people know, is like a training belt, you know? Like, this is how I used to travel. Do you understand? Like, money for me, money for whatever that comes up, you know? This is how much social responsibility I take. Do you understand? But in the same time, bruv, I'm a student. I try to tell most of these people, do you understand? Like, I go to school still. I'm gonna graduate soon. If I work, it's a side hustle, you know. School is the main everything, but my job is like a side hustle. And then during breaks and holidays and summers, that's when I do work like full time. Do you understand? So when I travel on a budget, not because I'm stingy, but just because that's how my economy looks at the moment. And some would be like, if you can't afford to travel, then don't travel. And it's like, no, but you cannot say that. Do you understand? Like, when I'm back here, I'm not doing any so-called fun stuff. And is that, a lot of it is on purpose, you know? Because I'd rather save and then go and do what I really want to do than being out every weekend on the clubs here, or just spending like unnecessary money, you know, and you're not getting any memories, any value like that, you know. I used to be like that before, but you know, stuff changed. So anyhow, the taxes was expensive, huh? I'm telling you, like when I went to see like the pyramids, I had one taxi from the hotel to like a area where like this is the maximum, no cars can drive any further. So the cab driver left me there, and then you had a guy that came up to us and was like, oh, you're going on the tour, you're going to see the pyramids? And I was like, yes. So he took me to like it looked like a little, I don't know, like a separate like a business room or something. And I was sitting there with one of the so-called managers, you know, and this manager, he looked so irritated. He started to like curse or something in Arabic to this guy, you know, because I think like he saw a black woman and they know the customers, like they have probably been through this a lot, you know. So he was just like, you know, why do you, you know, we can't make money out of this, da, 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 you know. And the guy was just like, patience, take it easy, you know. So we were sitting there and discussing, and I was like, bro, I just want to see the pyramids, okay? I don't need nobody walking with me, telling me stories or explaining anything, you know, like I can find the information and I know some of the information by myself. Do you understand? Like, I just want to know how to get to the entrance, basically. But he was starting to talk about, okay, do you want to go with camel, horse, or what do you want to go with? And I was thinking like, okay, you know what? If I'm here, let me just get the full-on experience, you know? And then he gave me a price. And that price was almost $200. Like in Swedish money, it was 1,900 Swedish kronor. So I think it's like $200. And I was like, bruv, I have done my research online, and I know for fact that I could have done this for like the third of that. Do you understand? If I just skipped some of this stuff, you know? I know it. But then again, I was like, you know what? After a while, I was like, I'm not even gonna argue with these people. Do you understand? Like, it is what it is. I'm here now. I'm not gonna be here forever, you know, it's once in a lifetime kind of whatever. And I have been working so much this summer, so I was like, the next salary that I'm gonna get, I know it's gonna be a good salary because I have been hustling, like I said. So I was like, fuck it. So we did this so-called little tour with horse, and I'm not gonna complain. The only thing is that people were asking for money. You know, it's like small, extra expensive. You know, like they don't even ask you like, do you want this? Like they will just start guiding you, and then they stand there with the hand out, you know. So you need to be very like in the beginning, you need to let them know like, no, I don't need no guide. No, I don't need no tour. No, I don't, you know, you need to let them know, because like you think like these people are just being friendly, walking with you, starting to talk and all of this stuff, you know, and then all of a sudden they're standing there like, you know, and you're like, bro, I didn't order this. Like, anyhow, this guy, I'm telling you, he started to talk about a tip. So not only did I have to pay like $200, I had to tip this guy that I didn't even want in the beginning. Like I said, I didn't need a tour guide like that. Do you understand? But he wanted a tip, and I was just like, that tip should be somewhat included in that price, don't you think? But I think these people, they were just trying to stretch it, you know, like they feel which tourist can you know, like if it was another tourist, maybe they would be like, yeah, 200, like we already maximized, you know. But he kept on going. So I said, okay, so how much do people usually give you? And he's like, oh, everything from $10 to $20. And I was like, okay, let me just give you 20 then, you know? So when we came to the ATM and I was gonna pay, I'm not kidding with you, the way that these guys was looking, the facial mannerism and everything, I could see, and even the locals that were sitting nearby, I could see that these people were tricking me. Do you understand? I could see that because the smile on these people's faces, it was almost like what I paid them is like, let's say like 3 customers, so they could take like a break for I don't know how many, it was like I paid for 3 customers or something. Plus, he didn't get the 20, he bargained for more. And the reason why I gave him more, it was almost like $50-$60 or something, was because I'm standing there alone, a woman, black woman. I am in Africa still. Egypt is Africa, former Kemet. Do you understand? But the people that inhabited, like that live right now, are Arabs, basically. And Arabs are not known to be very fond of black people. Do you understand? I heard a lot Aswat when I was there. Aswat is basically black, but when they say it to a person, it's like saying the N-word. What more? People were talking about kefir, iblis. Kefir is like the non-believer. So not like you can be like, oh, I don't believe in anything like that. But the way that they're saying kefir is very condescending. It's like saying that you're almost the Antichrist, And then talking about iblis. Iblis is another word for Satan. And what more did I hear? I heard melek a lot. Melek means messenger, And one more, haram, So these people, they were basically saying haram. I think that they were saying like what they are doing is haram. Because most of these people, they're religious, they're Muslims. And scamming people for money like that is not kosher. It's not halal. Do you understand? So I think that these people were basically saying, oh no, this is haram, this is not good, and all of this stuff. But then you heard somebody else say, yeah, but she lives in Europe. Like, do you understand? She's European now. Like, almost like to justify, like, she can get that money back somehow. And I'm like, bruv, you don't want somebody to be stranded in your country because you are too greedy. Do you understand? You need to think about your reputation, especially if you are a country that is living on tourism, like your main income source is tourism. Then you can't be like, just think about, like for the day. You gotta think in the long haul. Like how am I gonna sustain something good for not only myself, but my family and my people and all of this stuff. But if you have people that are tricking people and taxi drivers that take like, literally you pay the same price as you do back home in Europe, America, wherever you live, you pay the same price, and like the currency is so different that you pay their rent basically. Like you done their month with just one ride. Do you understand? If you keep doing all of this scammerous stuff, like word to mouth or whatever it's called, people will talk, And it's like, it doesn't matter whatever monuments you have and all of this stuff. Like people will be like, nah, I don't want to do it. Or they're gonna pay like the hotels, like the hotel have like all-inclusive package. And most of the time, this all-inclusive package, it doesn't benefit the little people, the locals. Because it will be like, okay, so the hotel will be like, okay, we have our own cab driver that will take you from the airport to the hotel, So it's not like a local driver or anything like that. So this money is not going back to the locals. And then once they are in the hotel, if they're like, okay, we've been scammed so much, we don't even want to eat out in the restaurants or anything like that, that's not good for your business as well, because now they're gonna be at this hotel and they're gonna eat that food over there, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, everything. Do you understand? Huh? And when it comes to like souvenirs, like even the hotel, they will have their own little souvenir shop, so the locals will not benefit anything. Like they will even have their own private beaches and stuff. So I'm just saying, this is a result of people being scammed so much. It's not good. The best thing would have been like, like a tourist they live in a hotel, or they feel so comfortable that they can live in Airbnb or hostel or something like that. They eat your local food, they take your local transportation, they buy local everything. Do you understand? So the money goes direct to your pocket. But if you have bad reputation, you keep scamming people and all of this stuff, it's not good. You need to think about your reputation. You really need to think about your reputation. And I feel like most of these people, they don't, you know? Long story short, he was very threatful, you know, but he got his money. He was very threatful. His eyes, bruv, I can't even explain it. If I had a body camera and people could see what I mean, this guy looked like he was gonna fight me if he didn't get his fucking money. Do you understand? No fucks given if I'm a woman, if I'm younger or anything like that. You know, bruh, this is creepy. So for anybody that gonna travel, especially to Egypt, when it comes to that specific place and you don't know Arabic or anything like that, I recommend you pay that little extra money to get like a full-on tour, you know, to get everything. Don't do anything by yourself like that, you know. And if you're gonna do everything by yourself, be very firm, be very all of this, know your, do you understand? So you don't get scammed. But I'm just saying, like, get somebody from the hotel that would, like, do you understand? Like, have like private tours and all of this stuff. Because trying to be nice and meet the locals and try to do this over there is not gonna work. Because you give them a finger, they will take the whole arm plus legs. It's literally that catastrophical. I mismatched the time a little bit when I was there because it is a little time difference. So when I did the video that I'm gonna show, if I haven't already shown it, when I did the video, I actually thought that I was gonna leave that night, but I was like, but I'm gonna leave tomorrow. I have one more day here. So, you know, Cairo don't have any beaches. So the nearest beach that I Googled was like 2-hour drive from the city center. So I decided to be like, okay, let me just go there. And this time I'm not gonna take a local cab, I'm gonna take an Uber, you know? And I saw the price and I was like, okay, so this price is basically like, I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm back home now and I'm gonna take a bus, you know, and I'm gonna go 2 hours to somewhere, this is basically the price that I would have paid, you know? Maybe here is a little bit cheaper, but this is basically the same price range. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me take it. And this guy came, like, first of all, it was hard to find somebody because, like I said, it was a 2-hour drive, you know? And I got declined like 4 times, you know? And eventually when somebody came, he wanted more money. He wanted more money. So I had the receptionist come out and we had to like try to discuss and come up with a price. And eventually we came up with a price. And the thing is, like, when these people say it's a 2-hour drive, it's not. Like, these people, most foreign countries, they drive like maniacs, you know? So it took like, how long did it take? It took like 1 hour 30 minutes, let's say, you know. And once we arrived, like, I'm telling you, like, they had different entrance, and the entrance was through the hotels, like very upper hotels, you know. And the first gate was like, nah, you guys can't pass here. They were very dismissive, you know. Like, as soon as they saw who my driver was trying to get in, and then we went to the next one, no, and the next one, no, and eventually we came to one that was like deserted almost, and then this teenager, no shoes, no nothing, dirty, like he looked, do you understand? Like, he was, you know, and he wanted money for us to enter. And I was like, okay, so how much? And then he got his money, he got happy. So you could see that usually he don't get money. And now he's thinking, okay, so let me go with you guys, you know? And I was just like, nah, bro. you got your little money. I don't have more to give. Do you understand? I gotta pay this driver as well. Because me and the driver, we were like, because the ride was so long, it was so far. So we decided that he was gonna stay with me. And I was gonna pay him, of course. He was gonna stay with me and we go back together. Because I was like, this was out in the desert. Do you understand? Like when we were driving, it was sand, like no civilization. Do you understand? Crazy, bruh. And I started to see that my cab driver started to get nervous. You know, when we entered, he started to get nervous, like a little bit shaky and all of this stuff. And we come to the beach, the water is crystal clear, everything is nice, but the only thing is that there are no tourists there. No black people, no white people, there are no other ethnicities than Arabs. And not just any Arabs, like this was like religious, you know, like the women had their, like a swimming suit that was covering the whole body. And in the background, they were playing like Rukia or something like that. And I was thinking, bruh, I'm not here for like an exorcism, you know, I'm here I have my bikini and all of this. And the cab driver, he couldn't any English. So when we were talking, we used Google Translate, and he had like a friend that could English that was like the middle person, you know, we went back and forth. So he was like, yeah, she's gonna bathe in a bikini. What are we gonna do? You know, and they were like, okay, take her far, 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 you know, far from the people. Bruh, I'm telling you, I'm not usually scared when I travel. I'm not. I have done some of the most craziest stuff, gone with people that I don't know, and just like, sometimes I'm even thinking like, shit, do I have like a secret death wish or something? Like, who does that, you know? And nothing has happened. But this is one of the first places that I felt so uncomfortable, so like, you know, like, oh my God, I felt like if I'm going into the water and try to take a dip or something, these people, they will probably try to drown me and sacrifice my ass or something like that. Since I've been hearing so much about kefir, this, iblis, that, aswad, this, I was like, bruh, huh? I don't feel safe here at all. And then you have my driver that is so scared too, and he is local. This is his people, and he's nervous around them. And I was like, what am I supposed to feel then, you know? But you had like a military guy that was sitting a little bit further. And as soon as the cab driver saw him, you could see that he relaxed a little bit, you know? That whole scenario there made me feel like, nah, I don't want to be here. It's not worth it. So we stayed literally maximum 15 minutes, and then we got left back here. And he was asking me like, why? And I was like, don't even be stupid now. Like, deep down in yourself, you happy that we're going out too, because I saw that you didn't feel comfortable. This cab driver, like, I'm not kidding with you, like, oh God. He thought that I was 16. We were talking about age. He was like, oh, how old are you? Or something like that. And I showed him, I'm like, I'm 33. And he's like, what? 33? I'm 22, he said. And I was like, okay, I thought, you know, because he looked older. Anyhow. And he's like, what? I thought that you were 16. And I was like, which 16-year-old travel by them? Like, I don't know, maybe some do, but anyhow, whatever, you know? And he was like, are you married yet? You know, the typical. And I'm like, no. And he's like, why? I'm like, long story. But the more we spoke, Google translated back and forth, and he said something. He said, I see you as a sister. I was like, whew, okay, I can relax now. So I took my seat down and I just like slept the whole way back. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to do the small chit chat, whatever, especially when we don't understand each other. It's so frustrating. So let me just relax, and you know, you see me as a sister, so you won't try any funny stuff, you know, except try to get some extra money out of me that he did. Overall, I can say as soon as I landed in Egypt, like at the airport, I got stared down so much. It made me feel so uncomfortable. I put my glasses on because I was just like, bruh, you know, because me, I get these crazy googly eyes, you know, because I'm trying to take in everything that happens in my surrounding. And when you try to do that, like your eyes literally follows everything and you look nuts. So I put my glasses on, and I'm not kidding with you. Like, people were looking. Even the people that were like dark skinned, like it wasn't many of them, but the ones, do you understand? And I was just thinking for myself, like, how can anybody want to be like a public figure or celebrity or something like that? Everywhere you go, people are looking at you like you're some kind of fucking alien or whatever, you know? I'm like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. I don't like it at all, you know? No, I don't like it at all. But I try to be respectful, you know? Before I went out, I even asked the receptionist, you know, because I had some shorts on and stuff. I was like, is this okay to dress like this here? Or would it be like some haram police will come and stop me and give me some fine or whatever? And he's like, no, it's okay, you know, you're a tourist, like, it's okay. But I was like, wow. Overall, like, I don't know what to say. I just I want people to be conscious when they travel, you know, to be like, you know, people are trying to survive overseas, you know, so don't try to exploit them, you know, like be in market and bargain and just be messy and, you know, take photos of people without their consent, and, you know, like, it's a lot of stuff that I have been seeing while I'm traveling, you know. So I do understand from the locals' point of view that they are sick and tired of tourists sometimes, you know. But then again, you as a tourist, especially you that is responsible, you know, you pay your extra, you tip people, you know, like you respect the customs and all of this stuff, and you still get fucked over by the locals because they don't see, you know, you just want a tourist, you know, they don't see the difference. For you guys, like, when it comes to certain countries, certain whatever, I would say, even if you are like me, like, you know, almost like vagabunda, kind of tranquil, solo traveler that is like, mañana, I just take it as it come, I try this, I talk to these people, you know, when it comes to certain countries, certain regions, you gotta swallow that so-called pride. Well, it's not really pride, but you know what I mean. You have to swallow that and just have like a full-on typical tourist experience, you know? Because I'm telling you, if you're gonna do this by yourself, you getting tricked, you like, and you can't be mad at these people because they just trying to hustle as well, you know? The whole economy is upside down, you know, they just trying to survive, so you can't be mad like that, you understand? So I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword or whatever, you know, traveling like a broke tourist, student, and you standing there and you really want to help, but at the same time, you're like, that's one of the good things with me. Whenever I do decide to travel somewhere, I make sure that before I travel, all of my shit is fixed. So when I return back home, my apartment is already clean, my clothes are already washed, like old food thrown out, rents paid, I have a bus pass or whatever, you know, when I come back, like, you know, sometimes I even put like some rainy day money, you know, on the side, but do you understand? So I don't come home like totally broke like that. But I'm just saying that extra money that I spent on this trip, and when I say extra money, I mean the money that these people took because they assumed that I had money or were trying to trick me back and forth. If you put all of it together, you know, this could have been a whole nother European trip for me. Because, you know, traveling within Europe here is very cheap. Very cheap. Like, I'm not kidding with you. I went to London, England with one of my friends in 2016, and I paid for both of us. How much was it? It was like 170 Swedish kronor. How much is that in dollar? 170 is like, is it $20 or $15? Something like that. For two people. Do you understand? So I'm just saying, all of the extra expenses that I had to pay, Like I'm thinking in my head, like, bruv, that could have been, because I haven't seen all of the European countries, even if I've been here for so long, you know, there's still some countries and places that I want to see that I haven't visited. And it is what it is. Like I said, the next salary that is gonna come is gonna be a good salary. So, but it's just a shame, you know. So if there's anybody out there that is watching this and especially come from these places and you meet a lot of tourists, try to not put everybody in the same box. You know, there are some of us tourists that are responsible, and we, like, you don't have to ask or beg or anything like that. We will give you that tip, you know, because we understand the difference with currencies and everything. We will give you that tip, but you don't have to scam or anything like that. So just try to have that in mind, you know. Most of the time, I feel like when people have been very like tranquil, this is when you give them, you know, when they're not in your face like that. Like, let me give an example. When I was in Brazil, one of the favelas, I had, you know, like this local motorcycle bikers. It's like taxi, but motorcycle. And one of the guys was like, yeah, you know, I can drive you down, you know, for free. I can drive you down, so you don't have to walk. And I had already walked all the way up, you know, I was tired. And the thing is, like, he know and I know that I would have paid him. Do you understand? Just by him being like, you know, we just understood. It's just common sense. Do you understand? Like, I wouldn't take a free ride from somebody like that. Just, do you understand? With that kind of difference in currencies, like, hell no, come on. But overall, I don't know. I'm gonna try to do another trip in the future, but I just want people to be like, just mind your business, you know, because like I said, people were already in my business before I even left, like started to ring and call and all of this stuff. Do you understand? I don't know what you guys are talking about behind the scene, what you guys thought that I was gonna do on this vacation or whatever, but I'm just starting to understand that, because I have so much eyes on me, so sometimes I feel like, yeah, these people, they must know everything that's going on in my life. And then I see the reaction, how you guys talk and behave and all of this, and I'm just like, nah, these people have no clue what's going on. Literally. You know? Like, you have people from fucking high school. I'm 33, bruh. People that you haven't met since you were like 18, 19. All of a sudden, they're starting to write to you like, is everything okay? You know? It's like, what? Like, why shouldn't it be? You know? It's a vacation. When you are private citizens like me, you don't like the limelight like that, and you're being put on blast 24/7, being lied on, being all of this 24/7. You feel it, even if you don't hear the rumors. Believe me, even a stupid person eventually would be like, the air is thick and nasty, you know? You need a vacation from that, and that's what I needed. And I felt like those 3 days was not enough, especially in this place. You know, so I'm gonna do another trip in the future, and I need you guys to have ice in your belly and just leave me alone, or else this whole thing will be like a Truman Show thing. Do you understand? It is crazy, bro. I wanted to end this video by talking about when I left. Ooh, oh yeah. And you had this, like, because you had to show your passport, and it was a lot of security stuff that you needed to do. And you had, like I said, have a lot of racism over there. And then I come, and I ended up having to be in another queue to meet like some kind of hire or whatever, and they needed to check my passport and all of this stuff. It was crazy because this racist ass bitch was sitting there talking about, it doesn't look like you. And I'm like, I have short hair on that picture. Like, you don't see the facial structure, you know, it's me. And I used to have a piercing before, so I still have a mark here. And You can't see that in the passport. So I thought that that was a little bit weird when she was like, do this, you know. So I was like, you trying to investigate something else, you know. You're not being professional right now, but whatever. So I was almost close to miss my flight because of this lady. I'm not kidding with you. It was only black people that were standing in that line. So as soon as I came there and I saw it was only black women and everybody had to go through that extra visa check, I was like, wow, this is hilarious. Do you know what I think is funny? I live in Europe. I have lived in Europe my whole life. And I would say, like, if you ask Europeans, there are levels to foreigners. And when it comes to Middle Eastern and Arabs, like I would say they are not most of the time the most liked group, the most liked immigrant group, if you ask Europeans and other ones. Do you understand? For various reasons. So they experience, like I had friends growing up that was from different parts of the Middle East, the Arabs, and we were going through the struggle on almost the same level. You know, they were experiencing hate, discrimination, and all of this stuff. You know, they were basically being treated as black people. You understand? So I think it's hilarious when you go back, when you go to one of these so-called places where they are the majority. Do you understand? And they show you the same hostility that they get abroad. It's like, bruv, if you guys saw, my people don't do you like that. Not here in Africa, not back in Europe, but this is how you're gonna treat us? I'm telling you, huh? Especially when you're on Kemet, it's not even your soil like that. You should show a lot more tolerance, acceptance, and gratitude, most of all. That's what you should do. But we'll see what next place is gonna be headed at. Like I said, I keep my moves quiet. So I can be posting every day on social media, you know? I can be posting every day, but you don't know me. You don't know me. And I think a lot of people have learned that recently. That it's not enough to stalk somebody. You can sit there with your little goggles on 24/7 watching somebody and you will still not figure them out. Do you understand? Talk to people. Ask people. Don't assume. Let's just try that in the future, okay? Have a nice day.